Hello everyone, welcome back to Think Lab by Saurabh. So today we are going to discuss one of the hottest career in artificial intelligence. How do you become an agentic AI expert in 2026? So many people know how to use the chat GPT, some people know the prompt engineering, but every people few know how to build AI system that can think, plan, use the tools, remember the information and complete the complex tasks autonomously, right? So this system is called agentic AI. So in this video, I will explain the complete roadmap step by step, right? So let's get started. So step one, the programming fundamentals. So everything began with the programming. So Python is the most widely used language in artificial intelligence. So before touching any AI framework, you should become comfortable with the Python. Learn variables, loop, function, classes, exception handling, modules. Understand the object-oriented programming language because many AI framework are built on around the objects, right? So study the data structure, array, dictionary, stack, queue, tree, graph, and the hash function. Learn the algorithms, including the searching, sorting, recursion, dynamic programming, graph. Try to learn those things and understand the API, right? Because modern AI applications is totally communicated through the external services, right? So API is knowledge of API is much required here. Learn the JSON because almost every AI model send and receive the data in JSON format. Learn the GitHub, Git because this version control is essential for the professional AI development. So without a strong programming foundation, building reliable AI agent is very difficult, right? So now we are moving to step two. So learn AI and large language model. So now it's time to understand how AI actually works. So start with the machine learning, learn the supervised machine learning, learn unsupervised machine learning, understand the regression, classification, and different clustering algorithms, right? Study the feature engineering, model evaluations, right? Then move to the deep learning. So understand the artificial neural network, learn the forward propagations, backward propagations, right? So study the different activation functions, understand optimization algorithms like SGD, right? So after that, study the transformer, right? Because this transformer replaced the older sequence model like RNN and LSTM. So understand the attention mechanism, like learn the self attention, study the multi-head attention, understand the positional encoding. So finally, understand the large language model. So learn how the tokenization work, understand the embedding part, study context, windows, right? Learn the next token prediction, okay? Then understand the inference, training, right? So this concept explain why modern AI model are so powerful, right? So now we are moving to step three, prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is much more than the writing the good prompts. It's about the designing the instruction that maximize the model performance. So learn the zero shot prompting, learn few shot prompting, understand the chain of thought reasoning, study the role of prompting, learn XML, JSON structure output, try to understand the prompt template, learn the context management, study the prompt optimizations, try to learn the prompt chaining, okay, and build the prompt that reduce the hallucinations. That is the most important. And well designed prompt can improve the accuracy without retraining the models, right? So now we are moving to the step four, working with LLM and API. So now it's time to build real application, start using the OpenAI API, explore the Claude API, experiment with Gemini API, run the open source model locally using the Olama, try to learn the Hugging Face interface API, right? So understand API authentications, like how to use the API keys, study the rate limits, learn the streaming response, understand the token uses, learn the cost optimizations, study the function calling, and also understand the structure output. So this is where AI becomes the software engineering instead of simply chatting with the chatbot, right? So now we are moving to step five, agentic AI fundamentals, right? So now we move from LLM to AI agent. So a chatbot answer the questions, okay, but AI agent complete the task. So agent receive a goal, it create a plan, it reason about the problem, it select the tools, it try to execute the action, it will absorb the result, and it will finally decide the next step. So this loop continue until the task is completed. So understand planning algorithm, study the reflections, learn about the React architecture, understand the tree of thought, right? Study the chain of thought reasoning, learn the different tool callings, and try to understand the environment interaction. So a study agent loop, most important. So understand the autonomous decision making, this is the foundation of agentic AI. Okay, these all are the foundation of basic of agentic AI. So now we are moving to step six, agentic framework, right? So building everything is manual is very difficult. So agent framework is simply development, right? So LangGraph help to build the stateful workflow using the graph-based executions. CrewAI also allow the multiple AI agent to collaborate. AutoGen enable the conversation between the specialized agent. So study the node, study the A's, understand the state management, learn the workflow orchestration, study the agent communication, learn the task delegations, right? Understand the human in loop system, right? So this framework allow developer to build the scalable AI system quickly. So now we are moving to the step 7. We call the RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So large language model have a limited knowledge. So RAG allow AI to retrieve the fresh information before generating the response. So first convert the document into the embedding, store embedding into the vector databases. So example include in the Chroma DB, Pinecone, there are lots of databases there, vector databases. Try to use those things. Waviate is also there. So when a user asks a question, the system performs the semantic search. So relevant documents are retrieved. These documents are added to prompt. So finally, LLM generate the accurate answer. So try to learn these chunking things. Try to learn embedding models. Understand the similarity search. Try to build a hybrid search. Okay. So also we have to learn the re-ranking. So we have to understand the retrieval pipelining. So RAG is the one of the most important skill in enterprise AI, right? So now we are moving to step 8. We called AI memory. So real AI agent required the memory. Without memory, every conversation start from the zero. So short-term memory store the current conversation. Long-term memory store the user preference, right? Semantic memory store the fact. Episodic memory store the previous experience. So procedural memory store the workflow. Try to learn the different types of memory, right? Study memory for the compressions. Understand the vector memory. What is the learning indexing? Learning memory indexing, we have to build it, right? So understand the persistent storage, right? So memory makes AI agent more intelligent over the time. So now we are moving to the step 9, that is called the tool integration. So modern AI system are connected with the external system. So they search on the web, they try to execute the Python code, they will query the SQL databases, they can read the PDF, they can generate the report, they can call REST API, they can send the email, they interact with the cloud services, so they automate the workflow. So tool calling is just transform the LLM into the digital employee capable for performing the real work. Okay, so now we are moving to the step 10, the production deployment. So building an AI agent is only the beginning. So production deployment where the software engineering becomes the essential. So use the fast API to expose your AI agent as a API, right? Just use the different types of like Dockers. Try to deploy in the cloud platform, monitor the latency, monitor the token uses. We have to track the cost, we have to evaluate our agent performance, we have to also detect the hallucination, we have to add the guardrail, right? We have to implement the security, we have to study the observability, right? We have to track the we have to build the tracking system, right? We have to implement the logging. So production AI is about the reliability, scalability, and the safety, right? So we have to also work on the real projects. Theory alone is not enough. Build a AI chatbot, build a PDF question answering system, create a research assistant, build a coding assistant, try to build an AI data analyst, create autonomous browser agent, develop the customer support agent, build a multi-agent research system. So creating personal AI assistant with the memory, we try to develop the every project publicly. So your portfolio will be your strong resume, right? So at the end, the final advice is the AI industry is changing rapidly, right? So don't spend month only the watching the tutorial. Learn one concept, build one project, deploy it, repeat the process. So that is the how the real AI engineering grow, right? So if you perform constant way, so follow this roadmap, you will build the skill need to become the agentic AI engineer in 2026. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, so don't forget to like and share the subscribe. See you in the next video. Happy learning.